On this episode, chattel and cattle, murr. That's basically the whole thing. And sirens. What is happening? This real estate stuff is not easy, so send me your questions and I will answer them. This is the Ask Jason Show. Hello everybody, my name is Jason Piercey, and this is episode? Why did I do that? 48 of the Ask Jason Show. This episode is, what are you pushing buttons for? I saw Joe push buttons. Why are you pushing buttons? Do I have to start over again? He's doing this. This one is dedicated to all of those people who have written in a multiple offer situation attempting to buy a home that somebody else also wanted to buy and lost. This episode is for you. So here, some very easy, clear-cut tips on how to win in a multiple offer situation, also known as what your agent should have done way back when. Cue the trolls. First things first, believe it or not every seller cares more about money than everything else. Lots of sellers care more about convenience and timelines. A lot of them care about whether they're gonna have to rent an apartment before their new home is finished. A lot of them care about whether or not you want the mirror in their bathroom that their great, that's way too far back. Did they even have mirrors back then? That was given to them and it's a family heirloom. So, it's not all about money. Make sure your agent makes the phone call ahead of time and ask, what is the perfect closing date? When are they moving into their next home? Are they leaving town? When is the transport truck coming to take all of their belongings and bring it to Prince Edward Island because they're starting a potato farm? I hope that doesn't offend anybody in PEI. I think Islanders are amazing. Shout out to Brian Bradley. Brian Bradley of Hits FM fame from PEI. Nice guy too. So it's not all about money. Make the call ahead of time. Figure out when is the perfect closing date. Because if I receive two offers and one of them is amazing in every way and the other one is amazing in every way except the closing date sucks and it's going to be really inconvenient for my sellers, so that's that. There are certain blanket clauses that all buyer's agents will write into every single deal. And I mean blanket, like really, just drag and drop this clause into every single contract that they write. But these blanket clauses, while they're in there to protect you, and that's what your agent will say, well, I put that in there to protect you. And I'm using this particular voice because there's literally no agent in our entire market who speaks like that, so I can't possibly be pinpointing anyone in particular. I put all that in there to protect you. But the reality is, it's not. They're not all there to, they are there to protect you, but they're also there out of laziness because they don't want to proof every single one of them and cater it to your specific situation. For instance, there's one clause that goes into every single deal that any realtor ever writes, almost. And that is that the onus is on the seller to provide a survey and real property report that is satisfactory to the purchaser's solicitor. If you are selling a home, you need to represent your property for what it is. And then a survey and real property report is basically just like an aerial framed picture of the house on the land with sirens. Joe, where do you live? It's an aerial picture with landmarks and GPS coordinates and all kinds of stuff to let you know that the house is where everybody says that it is. And then there's a big long write-up that uses the word fence way too many times to identify all these things. Buyers, agents will always ask sellers to provide that to a degree that is satisfactory to their purchaser's lawyer. That's a pretty vague phrase. Satisfactory to the purchaser's lawyer? I prefer black ink to blue ink. We need another one. Why did I do that? It's the suspenders. Why even bother? Because that you are virtually guaranteeing a counteroffer when you write that clause into an offer. Because every single listing agent worth their salt is, where does worth their salt come from? Salt companies. This is going nowhere. Every single listing agent worth what they are charging you is going to counter on that particular clause and say that they will provide you the real property report or location certificate or survey that is in their possession only, and that if a new one is required, they will be willing to split the cost of that down the middle, 50-50. That's gonna play out that way 90+% of the time. So if you're in a multiple offer situation and you're reading through the contract that your buyer's agent has asked you to sign to try and get this home that you love enough that you're willing to compete for it, and you see that clause and it there isn't a part at the end that says that you'll pay for half of a new one if it's required, you are guaranteeing that that seller isn't just going to sign your offer. Guaranteeing they're at least going to counter it for that one clause. And if I'm a seller and now I'm already filling out a counter offer to change one thing, now I'm feeling, well, I'm already here. What else can I change? Well, I like these drapes, I like these things, I like blah, 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 money, cash, dollar bills. Bad idea. Make it easy to accept. Here's another one of those blanket clauses that go in every contract that don't necessarily need to be there. It's not because they're not important, because they are important. They're wordy, they're thick, and they're wordy, and they sound like bigger things than they are. Like you start using technical terms like chattels, that all chattels have to come with that. What's a chattel? What's a chattel? It don't go moo, it's not a cow, it's not cattle. Chattel, not cattle. I got gurgly. Essentially, if you were to take your house, open all the windows and doors, flip it upside down, and shake it, anything that doesn't fall out is a chattel. So it's attached to your house. It's installed, it's affixed to your house. I've done deals, people write into it that they want all wall-to-wall floor coverings. I'm not taking up the carpet. Okay. That particular realtor who may have written that probably did a deal one time where somebody took up the carpet. I don't know. And now they're like trying to prevent from it happening again ever. But have the conversation. Your realtor needs to have the conversation with the listing agent ahead. I'm actually getting increasingly irritated by myself in this entire episode. So this is all that I have to say about that. There are ways to win multiple offer situations without only overspending on the house. And that's it. What day of the week is this? Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It's not even Wednesday, it's Thursday. I got hockey tonight. I like Thursdays. Till next time. Bye. The Ask Jason Show exists so that you can get good real estate related information from a resource that you can trust. Now, speaking of resources you can trust, here's a couple I would trust to work with my mom. Because good enough for mom, I mean, good enough for you.